Welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging with friends. We are playing Otherscape tonight, and I clicked the wrong button. I put us on the 5-person screen, and we now have 6 players. So, but everything's fine now. Everything's fine. So you might have saw something a little weird, but we're back, and yeah, we're continuing. And I think we're gonna finish the Sunken California arc, or we just stay down here forever. Like, who really wants to go back up to the city,
right?
Yeah. So. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
We made that world. We know we don't want to live in it.
This is a dystopian game. So, bad things everywhere. So, yeah. But yeah, you guys like the new little map thing I put in here? I haven't really put a ton of work into it lately, but
I like it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Great color scheme.
Yeah. So I'll drop this in the Discord later. But yeah, and I figure I'll add as we go. So I've got like Sunken California on there and Salts. I like how I make the city. We make the city, and then I set the first adventure completely off the city in the water.
Yeah.
So it's like off the map.
On the map.
Stupidest thing. So yeah. Anyhow. But yeah, there's that. And then
kind of feel like we brought that on ourselves. We're being so absurd with city creation.
There's some crazy things. I don't know how much you guys remember.
There's some very crazy things.
I'm excited to get back up onto dry land and explore the rest of the city. I'm looking forward to the Russia situation, big Russia, little Russia. That seems like a lot of fun. The red green district with Big Red.
I'm very excited about the red green.
Yeah,
with Big Red. Yeah, it's good times. So I'm looking forward to that.
I'm excited about Silk Quarter.
Yeah, Silk Quarter is like where I think there's like that one's got like a vigilante
character. Yeah.
And then there's what else? Oh, there are the Badlands, which is where all the not the Badlands. No, it could be the Badlands. The Badlands is the one that's got all the mushroom network thingy.
All the shrooms,
Stuff. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So like there's lots of weird shit you guys came up with. If you really think about it. I mean, because it really was you guys who came up with it, not me. So really it's your fault.
This is true. And chat, we can expand the responsibility for this.
We're not expanding responsibility. We're expanding blame. It's all
in the AB.
Down in the AB. Melissa, where are we again?
AB.
God damn it. Just the worst. John, don't worry about it, man. The whole thing is Arizona Bay. We just happen to be literally under the water, but like the whole city is basically Arizona Bay. So
we're like one of those DLC portions that's not on the main map.
That's where we are. Yeah, that's definitely where we're at right now. We started there. So I started a new video game this weekend because I wanted to do something. So I got this game called Terra Invicta. And it's a game. So if you ever play like Crusader Kings, you guys know Crusader Kings or anything like that? Like the super deep like strategy games and stuff. It's like
long
that.
Time ago, though. It's been a minute.
It's like that, but then if like it had a baby with XCOM, and so it's essentially like you're playing that deep Crusader Kings thing, except you're doing it during an alien invasion kind of deal. And it's super awesome. I played it for 2 hours and then I immediately refunded it because I loved it. And I'm like, there's no way I can play this because I will not be able to do anything else. Because I will not be able to prep streams. I won't be able to work. I'm just like, it's just too deaf. Yeah. So I'm like, maybe when winter break comes around, I'll try again.
For something lighter, there's a Metal Slug Tactics game that just came out. Amazing.
Damn it. I think I actually heard about that. Metal Slug Tactics. Okay. I'm writing it down.
You're welcome.
I mean, I loved Final Fantasy Tactics, Ogre Tactics, all that stuff back in the day. So, okay. All right. I can't remember what it's called, but there is a game coming out in like 2 weeks and maybe in a week that's about bayou frogs and toads. And it's like got that kind of tactics kind of vibe to it. I think it's a little bit like, it's not full on like.
I mean, bayou frog tactics. Like, I'm sold.
Yeah, so I think that's what it is. I can't remember what it's called, but it's got bayou in it, and
Toads of the Bayou.
Toads of the Bayou. That's it. Thank you. So, I mean, I'm in. Toads,
Can earmark that.
Appalachian stuff. I'm in. Like that game's for me. I don't even know. I don't even care what the play, like what the gameplay is. I'm in. So
You're fighting against parents' medieval forces, dude.
he's really good. He's really good now. It's dude. It looks good. Looks good.
Oh my god, I want that.
Isn't it? So, yeah, it's
Got a
out.
good art style.
It's out a week from tomorrow, I think.
Okay.
You're welcome. Okay. Anyhow, we all ready to go? We ready to play? You guys remember all the things that happened last time? All right. Last time around. Okay, so we're still in Zungen, California. We started last time kind of in this transitional hub between where the collective, the Old School Hollywood Collective, who you're working for, by way of Nostalgia Jack, by way of La Loba, your fixer, this big time fixer that you want to kind of get it in on. You are trying to venture into the hab, the underwater hab that is like the stronghold of the Siltbound Authority, who are these like cultish Makara worshippers, who is like a kind of like a Hindu deity. I say kind of like a deity, sort of, it's a little murky, but it's essentially like a giant sea monster in a way, and they have been overtaking all of the territory that the Old School Hollywood Collective has taken up underneath the water of Arizona Bay, as they are trying to live their augmented reality life down here, like it was the 1940s. So you fought through a group of these reptilian-like guards and a spellcaster who was able to control and summon eels and such. You got tagged at one point by some security drones, but you still made it into like the stronghold hab. Inside, a bunch of you are very mythos inclined, and so you're able to feel like the presence of power. Like there's a place of power somewhere within this new hab, and that allowed you to follow it. You found it. You found it it was almost like a beacon to this old aquarium that was encrusted with coral, and you even saw like a leaping dolphin at one point. The whole hab had the feel of like a lagoon. There's barely any recognizable buildings that weren't already encrusted with coral or kelp or some other kind of like aquatic like feature. You spied you were kind of up on a rooftop of a neighboring building, and you were looking down. You saw a bunch of these followers in a courtyard. Some are going inside the aquarium. A few of you, Agaricus, Clover, Mallory, and Rika, you all disguised yourselves, climbed down, trying to slip past and into the aquarium. Verana, you parkoured across the rooftops. You were looking for another entrance, because I think you spied like a window or a door on one of the upper levels of the aquarium. And then Ivan set a tactical nuke at a completely different building down the street, which caused one hell of an explosion, drew a bunch of attention, and a bunch of those courtyard people, the people in the courtyard, that were kind of racing back. But as they were doing so, at least one, if not more, looked up and spotted Ivan, was able to track the arc of the fireball and saw Ivan up on the rooftops. And that's where we left off. So let's dive right in. I'm going to give the spotlight to Ivan, we'll say. As Ivan, you've just blown up this building. As you look down and you see your crew members racing across, or not racing, leisurely strolling down the avenue across this courtyard, were a crowd of maybe a dozen people. A bunch of them are starting to run in your direction. Some of them are running towards the fire. Ivan, I'm going to give you. You seem to be in the most danger currently, so Ivan, I'm going to give you a spotlight. What do you want to do here?
So I see a crowd of people running towards me.
You do,
knowing where I am. Would you say this is a compacted crowd, or like spread out?
So they were in a courtyard. They're racing down the street, essentially starting to mingle with your crew members, they're like racing past your crew members in some cases. So it's possible you could group a bunch of them, but you also could also potentially spill out.
Yeah. No, I don't want to risk hitting my friends. Not this time.
Not this time. Maybe next time.
Yeah. I'm gonna, like when you see the stage magicians, and like when they're ready to peace out, and they just throw the thing on the ground and there's a fireball and they can disappear.
Darkwing Ducking it?
Like the
Is that what you're saying?
smoke cloud
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Darkwing Duck.
I want to
Gotcha.
try and use my fire stuff to create obscuring fire where I'm at, so I can try and evade their noticing.
I think that sounds amazing. So to try to kind of give yourself cover. Yeah. Okay. So put together a pool. What do you think you're using then for your tag here?
Let's go with. Well, definitely pyromancer and unharmed by fire, because I'm kind of pointing this point blank on myself.
Okay.
What do you think about leaning into clever pranks? Just going with the stupidest option, like, haha, I disappear.
I don't know if that directly
It's a little
applies here. It doesn't
stretch.
feel
Yeah.
like a prank. This feels like a genuine attempt to get the hell out of
I
here.
knew it didn't sound right, but I'm like,
Worth asking though.
Doesn't hurt to ask.
you.
No one nuked me. Okay, I'm gonna roll it with 2, and I've got tags.
Now
Punctured
remember,
and marked. Yes.
we've been talking about some of the things we've been screwing up some rolls here and there, and some friendly folks on YouTube have been helping me. One of the things you could do if you wanted to try to get more power, because this is going to be a tracked outcome, because I do want to see like the degree to which you're successful, like how big and how thick of like a smoke cloud do you create, which might make it easier for you to slip away. So if you wanted, I'm not saying you should, say if you want, you can always voluntarily burn one of your tags to get 3 power from that tag instead of just the normal 1.
I could, but we're also possibly going to go fight a god, and I would like as many of my tags as possible.
I would like to hoard my tags, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So would I take a -1 for each of my marked and my punctured, or?
No, it's not necessarily that, because I don't think this is going to. The mark's not going to affect you on this one. Punctured. No, I think you can keep. I think you're okay. Doesn't affect your magic, I don't think.
Cool. So going with a +2.
All right.
That's a 9.
Okay. 9 is a success with some small consequence. So first, you've got 2 power you spent, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna create a tag, or for the area. I'm gonna call it smoke screen.
Yeah.
Okay. Or do you want to spend both of your? Do you want to spend both of your power to purchase that, or to sort of invest in that?
Yeah, I think so. Because I mean, I'm not looking to do damage. The only other thing I would be looking to do would be to use this to escape, but I think having multiples and smoke screen would leverage into that.
So I'll go ahead and we'll say we got a smoke screen of 2, which is going to help you in some ways to escape from here. And so you did one of the other things I want to start using more of is the action database. So you were using a mythos power, right?
Yeah.
So let's say, go ahead and give yourself, since you have a little consequence, give yourself drained 1.
Okay.
Just because it kind of sapped a little bit of your energy to make sure that you just threw a massive fireball and now you're doing it again to sort of control it. And so maybe it's just a little bit of a drained 1. And that could affect future spell casting.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Agaricus and Mallory, Clover, and Rika, you hear and you look up and you can see the rooftop where Ivan was just suddenly burst into flame and then quickly fizzled out. And now there's just this thick smoke up there. You can see that there are a handful of these people that all of them have some grafting of coral or scales or something, some sort of aquatic sort of theme attached to them in some way, growing out of them. And you see a few of them race off into the first story of the building. Remember that you guys are basically at about knee to waist high water, but you see them splashing into that coral encrusted building as if they're going to look for whoever was above. The other half is racing down the street to probably take care of that big explosion back there. So I'm going to throw it to any of the 4 of you if you wanted to try to take an action on this, as you do see Ivan's getting some attention now. But it does look like the courtyard's much clearer because of it. So sort of up to you guys
You're
what you want to
welcome,
do here.
everyone.
So
Let's
one of
not
you.
waste what he's done.
Yep.
Let's go.
Hustle and bustle towards that archway.
Okay.
Of
I'm gonna
course,
say-
just leave our friend behind. Okay.
No, he's fine. Ivan's really
I
good.
know, he's
at
fine.
all this.
Going to do that
If we
to
don't
you
hear
one day,
any more
my sweet.
explosions, we'll turn around.
Okay. Okay. So you just hear on the back, Agaricus, you hear Ariana just saying,
They're going to do that to you one day, my sweet. You can't trust them.
so you all are going to race inside. Is that right? Okay.
Towards
So
the arch.
before you race inside, and I'm going to say between your disguises and between the distractions, no roll necessary. You get in through this leaping dolphin coral encrusted archway, and you very quickly find yourselves in the remains of an aquarium. You can see some small, some sort of small remnants of what it looked like before the fall, basically. So you can see as you race in, like there's a gift shop off to the left that's completely overrun with these creeping, crawling bits of like kelp, and there's patches of coral here and there. You can see off to another side of this open area that as you enter, there are these hallways that seem to kind of go off to like offices and employee areas, things like that. And then it just looks like there are these huge gallery areas with these viewing tubes, and they kind of go off in like a three-pronged way. And you would guess, if any of you have ever done any research about like the 20th century or something like that, you know that they love their underwater viewing aquariums where they can go in and walk around and see the sea life. You see 3 of these kind of venturing out in different directions. You hear the sounds of voices left and right, people calling out what sounds like commands to one another. Go check this out. What was that? Whoa, what's going on outside? And then you also hear the sounds of stuff buzzing that you think are drones. So you know that the place isn't completely empty, but you have made it inside. Is there anything that you all are looking to do here? As you know that there's stuff here, and you can feel this pull of some kind of power. Like, is there anybody here who wants to like take the lead on where this group's going to go and what they're going to do?
I kind of want to try and tune in and see if I can feel where the pull's coming from strongest.
I think that sounds like a great idea.
Tried calling out to me, and I want to see if I can align with that or whatever.
I think that sounds like a great idea. What kind of tags can you please? And this is just going to be a quick outcome. It's just a question of whether you can attune yourself or not. So you're really just trying to kind of get a sense of where the strength of this power is coming from. So what are you thinking?
I would say the only 2 that make sense to me are knowledge of occult and investigator. I'm trying to pull on.
I think they both make perfect sense. Yeah. So go ahead and give that a roll. And this is not going to be tracked. This is just it is or it isn't. And you either do or you don't.
Okay. Plus 2. 10.
10. Okay,
10.
perfect. You know that directly down this center viewing tunnel, you think that as it descends a little bit further, like you can see it almost like a waterfall kind of breaking off the side, and it begins this downward slope, and you can see a stream is starting to funnel down it. And as it does so, like you can almost feel that water itself, it's not just water. Like there's something about the water in this place that you think is like imbued. It is somehow like not augmented, but it's somehow like amplified by whatever it's being tapped into. So you're pretty sure it's right down that middle path.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll gesture in character that way and start kind of shambling.
Okay. Let's check in up top with Verana. So Verana, last we saw you had jumped across. You're essentially somewhere on the top of this building, the same aquarium building, which is multi-story. and you're like walking on and crunching all these different bits of coral. You can see these drippings of kelp here and there. Occasionally you hear the sounds of zzz, and you see like the lights of these security drones are kind of circling around, but none of them have spotted you at the moment. That's when you hear the second explosion, and you look over and you can see where Ivan had been standing. It's now this big, dark, black and gray cloud. You probably, maybe you can spy at the last second your crew members rushing inside in their disguises. You're up here, Verana. What are you looking to do up here?
So that's a good question. I have been trying to figure out which of two. Like, I want to be useful to Ivan. So Ivan did like a big distraction to kind of get people in. So I am trying to use my as yet unseen position to like retrieve Ivan. So I don't necessarily have a lot of things that would help me with this, but I would like to basically kind of take something that I'm wearing, some kind of strip of fabric or something, to kind of help myself kind of slide on some like wires or something that's here, to just sort of come like find Ivan and just sort of like yank him up into like a high area with me.
Okay, that does mean you're returning to the building, because you had already left that rooftop. So you have sort of, so it does mean you're going back. And that means you're racing back, and you can't even really see where Ivan is currently either. He just went poof, and now there's just black smoke, because the same black smoke that is keeping him obscured from them is probably obscuring him from you as well. So does that mean you do want to race back to try to aid him?
I think I would like to come back a bit, and even if the first thing that all I'm doing right now is just locating him, because he did do such a good job at obscuring kind of where he's at, that might be step one, is just kind of from up here trying to change my perch a little bit so that I can see where he is.
Okay. Go ahead and let's put together a pool just to see if you can spot him. Let's just make this a quick outcome. You either do, you don't. Let's make this a quick outcome. And the smoke screen is actually going to work against you in this case. So you're going to have a -2 on this from that. And call out what you're using.
Yeah. I have sense life force.
Sure.
So that's, I probably think, the only tag that I have. But I am kind of doing a combination where I'm, like sitting, sort of almost gargoyle-like on the top of like a building, trying to look through, but also kind of trying to, kind of use my mind's eye also to locate Ivan.
So sense life force. So you're basically taking a -1 on this roll. In total.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Give it a go.
I rolled a 9, so that's an 8.
Okay. So an 8. Okay. So what is your stealth at currently?
I had 4, I think.
You're very, very
hidden
stealthy
4.
up here. You made it across. Hidden 4.
Hidden
Okay.
4.
Let's go ahead and downgrade that as your consequence to 3. As you have to maybe come to the edge of the ledge, and maybe someone looks up for a second and they do one of those, huh? And then you're able to step back away. And they're like, huh? And you're not sure if they've noticed you, but you think that someone might start getting interested. Ivan, where do you think you would have gone after throwing down your Darkwing Duck?
I would have gone for fire escape, something like that. I don't want to go through the building.
Okay.
But I also know that I'm not jumpy parkour like Verana, so definitely like down the side or something like that. But,
Verana, you see him pop up in between these tufts of smoke, kind of trying to climb down, not a fire escape necessarily, because like everything's encrusted in coral, but you find like maybe a ramp that you're gingerly trying to move down. The smoke is obviously making that more difficult, but you can at least see him trying to make his way down as there's some of these followers that are going into that building. So that is what you see. Okay.
Okay.
So
Just really enjoying this picture of this like morose golf chick parkouring fun Bioshock, basically.
with her ancient fighting, and she's a lector too, right? Aren't you a lector? So like a lector priest, just parkour lector priest. You're like Moon Knight, sort of, kind of, in a way.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Back inside. Those of you that were racing down this sort of middle tunnel, like you feel this again. It's a decline, and you feel this stream of water that almost seems to be pushing you and pushing you. You also get to the point where you're going through this tunnel, this viewing tunnel, and so you can now see the dark waters. And much like other times that you've looked into the dark waters of the bay, you can see there's all these various life forms that seem to be milling about and moving about. These almost like almost jellyfish or man-o'-war like entities just undulating through the water, like boom, boom, but they're massive. And then you can see a couple shadows and shapes of those of like larger serpentine or crocodilian like creatures or species that are somehow either through the pollution of the bay or through the proximity to this power place have kind of grown and manifested. So there's a significant amount of underwater activity down here. But the bigger threat right now in front of you is that when you look towards the base of this incline, you see it opens up onto this very large chamber from which is hanging. You can see all of these different strips of kelp and such. But you see what looks like dozens of these exhibitor tanks. Like you can see there's these old-fashioned exhibitor tanks, and it's coming up out of those that it looks like coral is growing. And so all of these different coral growths just seem to be kind of pouring up and over. And you can see that the room has a significant presence of those like sort of serpentine guards that are like moving around. One of them climbs up at one of these dark, murky tanks. And then you can see more of those kind of cloaked, staff-wielding individuals kind of training these little ghostly eels to move around. You think you're in somewhere of like the heartbeat center of their business, but there's a lot of potential dangers here. So what do you want to do? Who wants to take the lead?
I do want to mention, or like, I want to use our comms kind of before we get too low. I feel like I'd get the sense that we're going underground, so I want to get a message out to say like, oh, we went down the middle tunnel. Like, just let them know for when they're catching up to us.
Okay. It's comms are difficult. You get like feedback and such on it, but you get the message out and hopefully it's received.
Okay.
So Agaricus, Mallory, Rika, I haven't heard from you yet. Any of the three of you want to take a spotlight here?
So Agaricus, Mal looks incredibly distraught, and he's like kind of just staying behind people because he's in a room that has some water that they're trudging through and tanks full of water. So he's just kind of chilling out and being quiet, like just following along with the group.
I think Rika is being very verbally encouraging to Agaricus and Clover, knowing that this is sort of more mythos driven and she has no sense of that whatsoever. So I think she's like, all right guys, where just point me somewhere. Where do we go? Just point me somewhere.
They're all right there.
Do you want me to start smashing?
I guess not. It's not like I'm going to come up with a better plan. We should just go with it.
I'm real good at smashing.
Is there anything on the other side of this room? Perhaps
it's a vast chamber with a dozen or so of these like exhibitor tanks, but you do see there are a lot of figures milling about, tending to some of these tanks. You can see some of those serpentine-like creatures that are crawling up out of a tank and like landing almost like And then, like, you see one of these kind of robe people comes over and helps them up and tries to get them situated, and they kind of mill about here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And you see other places where there's coral coming out. Like, think of it in the sense of like there is a significant presence. You are very much at like the nexus of where a lot of their people are. You are vastly outnumbered too. So that's the other thing to consider.
So she'll
What's the
kind of
lighting
give
like in here?
like a teasing smile to Garricus, who I imagine is nearby the elbow. It's like, I like that about fighting towns now.
I mean, we have an idea to draw them away from there somehow.
So when he says that, I'm gonna see if there's like a simple fire alarm, and if not, if there's like a panel to not fire alarm, but some sort of evacuation alarm.
You definitely, you definitely notice there are patches on the walls and such here or there that aren't coated in that slick kelpy grime or that coral, and you can definitely see that it's still functioning too. And many of those consoles seem to be intentionally connected to the tanks and whatever's going on in these tanks, and some of them seem to be connected to some other sort of environmental control. So you're pretty sure you can probably tap into a system here. However, Mallory, you would think that the best and probably the easiest place to do this place probably has some kind of like security room, like some security hub. Like if you could get there, it would probably be a more natural and easy like hack than just trying to go through like an environmental control panel. Like it's not impossible. It's just, it would be harder.
Hey, as I look at Agaricus, we should go to the security room here. I could do some work here. We won't have to deal with them if I can get in.
I mean, it sounds like you're full of good ideas, and I appreciate that.
Where is the security room?
Can I at least find that out from this panel?
I was just going to suggest that. Do a quick outcome. Just give me a quick little like a quick little hack to just tap in and see if you're able to kind of get maybe a layout of this whole place, something like that.
Yeah.
Please, Jeff, I'm sorry, I talked over you. I'm glad.
So the only two tags I can really think of right now would be intrusion specialist, my main one, and then because I've got some disaster alertness, maybe I would know where they would keep like the like security rooms and all that. But I don't know about that second one.
I think find back doors is good. Intrusion specialist is good. Disaster alertness. That's on
my.
That's on a disaster survivor. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's a hack.
That's fine.
If that's directly related to a hack. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So
still roll it all.
2. Hang on. Where did I put? There it is. Okay.
Just let me know how you do. I'm not going to track this one. This is just quick outcomes. So either you do like the degree matters, but like.
Okay. I don't think that worked because. Yeah, no, it just rolled 2d6. It didn't add the 2, so it'd be 5.
Okay. So what I'm going to say is fail forward in this case. You do manage to get a partial layout of this aquarium, not a full layout. And you do see that there are various offices on a different level. And you're pretty sure the security is among that. But you also know that you just tripped something. And you do hear, and you do see this sort of alarm beginning to bzz, bzz, and it's flashing on some of these. So you know you just tripped something.
Yeah. Fucking hate this place.
Okay. So sorry, I would give you bad ideas after all.
Yeah, well, it's that way.
So you know that there. Yeah, you know that there is like kind of an auxiliary hatch probably off to your right a bit. Like you can probably try to climb up that hatch. Like think of it like a Jeffries tube. It might kind of connect some of the other places. Like you can kind of climb some sort of ladder. But You do notice, though, I'll say that there are these 3 security drones that are flying over some of these different tanks, and within a second or two of you triggering that alarm, it looks like 2 of them rotate around and they start flying in the direction of where you guys are kind of huddled in this small little alcove by this panel. And so you know that they're imminent. Their arrival is imminent. So Rika or Agaricus, if you wanted to take a lead on this.
Let's see. I'm trying to see if I have anything to help us like sneak away. I am not really built for stealth so well.
Think about distracting them, maybe, or anything like that. Like, let's take a look at what you got.
And that's actually what I was hoping to do is maybe run off in the other direction to where Mal just said the security room was.
Okay. That distracting them?
The intention is to distract them.
But if you're running towards the security room, aren't you leading them towards the security room?
The security room. I'm sorry, I should be more clear.
Yeah.
So Mal said security room's to the right, so I'm gonna go to the left.
Sure.
For example.
Okay. And you want to just get their attention?
I do, and I'm gonna tell these guys that's what I'm doing, so they know to fuck off after I've left.
Okay. All right. Sure, we could do that. This is gonna be. Yeah. Honestly, you don't even have to roll. If you just come out, like, I don't even think this is a test. You just run out, you show yourself, and you see that you see like Rika just hang a left and start running to like the western side of this chamber, and these 2 flying security drones like shine this light, and you see like it's like a spotlight that just seems to track her along the wall, but that also seems to get the attention of some of the other various denizens of this huge chamber. And you can see that the attentions of those have started to like look at Rika, and we're gonna say this is basically gonna be like a chase. Like as you're racing across, they're gonna suddenly start chasing you.
Right.
Go ahead.
Can I burn my risk taker's luck charm and like give it to her? Because I picture it as like a tag, like a little lucky charm thing that I kind of wear around my neck. And I was gonna say, like, I think you're gonna need this.
Okay.
Pat you on the back.
Sure. Okay. Why don't we describe it this way then? So as you're running, Rika, and you're just trying to draw their attention, you race out of this little alcove where you have this modicum of cover, and you're just running across this chamber, and these spotlights start showing up on the walls, and then you start hearing like the sounds of chanting happening, and you hear splashes in addition to your own, and you see there's like this stream of these like ghostly eels that are now racing through the water in your direction, where this person in their hood has got their staff down into the water. It's kind of weird swirls of water are coming up it, and all of these eels are racing after you in the air. These things are coming after you. So why don't, Rika, you give me a test to like maybe get out of the room, like find a different route, or just race away. I don't know.
Okay.
Something that we could apply Clover's something a little bit, take a risk essentially.
Sure. So I'm just gonna hightail it, and the risk I'm going to take is alright, bust through walls.
Okay. So you want to like literally just like knock a wall down?
Juggernaut through.
Okay. You want a Kool-Aid Man through it? Okay. I'm assuming you don't want a Kool-Aid Man through the exterior of the station through like a viewing thing. You probably
I'm trying to stay inside.
Okay. Okay.
It's been a good one, guys.
I mean, there's one way to do it.
The whole hab implodes, and we're done. We're done playing Otherscape. Okay. Sure. Let's do it. So let's say you just try to, like, as it looks like you're getting cornered. Maybe the drones are coming from one direction, the eels are coming from another. You start to see one of these like nascent, like serpentine things start to get up and get their wits about you, and like you're kind of hemmed in, and so you just try to burst through a wall behind you. Go right ahead.
I have 3 tags that could reasonably be used. You let me know if they can be. I have an armored juggernaut, bust through walls, and imposing physique.
I think all those
they're
sound fine.
all in the same thing.
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can absolutely do that.
Okay.
I would say you could conceivably do exoskeleton suit, tough as nails. You could probably apply these as well. The only
Are you
danger,
fucking kidding?
the only danger is if you happen to roll really bad, you might not have any mitigatable tags to use. That's the only danger. So you might want to keep like 1 or 2
I think
in
I'm
reserve.
gonna keep tough as nails because that's really my only defensive one, and protective armor feels defensive as well. So I'll keep those 2, but I'll do armored juggernaut busting balls.
Yeah, take exoskeletons. Good. I think exoskeleton suit applies too.
I haven't used that yet, so that's awesome.
Yeah. That's 4.
What do I get from your risk taker, whatever, Joe?
He burned it. Yeah, you burned it, right?
So +3. Yep.
I'm gonna say you could take the +3. You have +7. Just don't roll snake eyes. Is essentially where you're at.
I rolled
an
an 8.
Okay. So 15 total. Okay. So, Rika, describe then what it looks like as you just burst through a wall. When there is no escape route, you make your own. So what does it look like?
So, Rika is a lot of things, and I think the thing she is most is direct. And so when she bursts into this room and she's kind of like trying to distract, it doesn't occur to her to do the smart thing of finding somewhere that they could get trapped or their propellers could get caught in something. No. She's just gonna keep going straight. And oh shit, there's a wall in the way. Okay. Doesn't matter.
Fantastic. Okay, so you throw yourself through this wall and you burst through it, and it's thick and reinforced. You feel like you hear like a couple like klaxons go off with your exoskeleton scoop, like, oh my god, this is a little bit much, but you make it through and you bust into what looks like some kind of like engineering room where you can see all sorts of these different devices. You think you're probably, whatever the sort of devices that they might be using to help kind of create whatever retaining fields they have, or to possibly like set up kind of like some kind of what's it called, like a chamber to go to the outside. I had wrote this down a second ago. I'm sorry, I'm completely blanking on the name. Some kind of decompression chamber and like flood control. And so you're thinking you're in this sort of engineering room now. You do hear yourself being followed. You have drawn away as you look over your shoulder, racing in and hiding amongst this engineering room. You see 2 drones following you. You see one of the robe guys, and you see this like nascent like reptilian thing coming into this engineering room to try to find you. Okay. Meanwhile, Agaricus and Mallory and Clover, do you take advantage of this opening to get the hell out of here?
Oh, yeah.
Or to do something else?
So, how many people left this room? Did it seem like this entire room cleared out trying to go
Yeah,
after
so I just
them,
saying 2 drones, a tide collar, you don't know what they're called, but I'm calling them a tide collar, and then one of Makar's children. So 4 things are chasing after Rika, but there's still more than a dozen other things moving about, people moving about. Like I said, this is a big chamber with like a dozen of these exhibitor tanks. They're not all in like one place. They're just sort of scattered about, either performing what looks like some kind of ritual, maybe. Some of them seem to go up to one of these tanks and like they hold their hand against it, and then you suddenly see the coral glow, or you suddenly see a pulse of a brightness come from within these dark, murky tanks. Other cases, you see like one of these like serpentine people climb up over the side, like it was almost being birthed from it. So like they're attending to work, it seems like they're attending to something. They're not looking for you actively, but there are plenty of people here.
I want to try and time, because I imagine a massive armored augmented Rika smashing through walls is pretty loud.
Yo, very much so.
I want to try and time one of those like wall breaks with me shooting one of the tanks and just trying to cause some commotion.
Okay. Sure, absolutely. You are going to get a -1 on this simply because the tanks do have like a reinforcement on them. But so otherwise, yeah, you go right ahead.
Okay.
Consequence is very clear, though, obviously. Well, there's a couple consequences we could have if you shoot one of these things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then probably weapon witching is the only one I think would make a lot of sense. Maybe analytical brain augment. I'm trying to kind of see what part of the tank would be the weakest point for me to ping it.
Okay. I'm going to say,
and like which tank would.
If you're applying that means you're coming out of this little alcove where you've been kind of hidden, which means there could you could be slightly more visible. Is essentially where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just poking in slightly to take the shot, and then we're going to run towards the security.
I'm okay. All right. So.
Yeah, so a net of a +1.
Net of +1. Oh
12.
my, that's a phenomenal roll. Okay, so you fire at one of these tanks. Probably not one that's like immediately close to you, right? You probably fire at one that's a little bit further away.
Yeah.
I'll give you a choice. Do you fire at one in which you see some of these serpentine creatures coming out of? Do you fire at one that looks like coral is growing out of it? Or do you fire at one that looks like it's got this pulsing bioluminescence in it?
Definitely the pulsing bioluminescence stuff. That's drawing my eye.
You fire, you see a hole, and then it starts to do that classic slow crack, like, and then suddenly it bursts. And think of these like big above ground pools, like they're these massive above ground pools, and you completely demolish one side of it, and you see this flood of black, sludgy, disgusting water. And then you also see like flopping down out of it, like riding that wave down. You see one of those large underwater kind of man of war that you saw pulsing and undulating outside. This thing's huge. It's like the size, you're basically looking like something that's the size of maybe like 3 cows put together. And then it's got these long tendrils. And so it just is kind of laboring around, and it looks like it's trying to move, but it's not. As it's struggling because it's not in water anymore. As you've done that, you hear more klaxons go on as the alarm is kicking up significantly. But I'll say, because you technically, there's really no way around that happening, right? So, but you definitely see that there are people now that are racing over to see what the hell just happened.
Yeah.
But okay.
Clover, if you've got a heads-up display, you would see Mallory will remember that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, Mallory's going for the
you go
the ladder
no
to get into the room.
I'll go with you to back you up in case something happens.
Okay, so Garricus is following along. Clover, are you hanging back to cover Rika, or are you going with the Garricus and Mallory?
Man, we're splitting so many times.
There's no wrong answer. It's gonna be fun either way.
Cover Rika.
Okay.
I kind of want to cover Rika. Make sure I get my charm back.
You rolled so well that I'll say like you can slink back into the alcove and catch your breath for a moment and figure out what you want to do next. That's fine. Let's go back outside. Ivan, last we saw you Darkwing ducked. You've been climbing. You tried to climb down. Give me a climb test.
Yeah.
So give me like a quick outcome, something just to climb down. What do you got to help you with this descent?
Not really the physical kind of person in that sense.
Okay. Advanced surveillance could apply.
Okay.
So you're trying to avoid, like, there's definitely security drones flying around, so we can apply that probably.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And don't forget, if you have some other creative way of getting down besides just climbing, go right ahead and like make something up. It's fine.
Yeah, and I've been thinking about how my climb down has been going, and so far I think the most appropriate answer is I'm slowly making my way down, going, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, as I'm.
I like how you're climbing down and Verana's trying to retrieve you upward.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 10.
Okay. You're climbing down. It's you've incidentally made it more difficult on yourself in some ways because of the smoke. I should have actually applied that probably as a -2. So technically it should have been probably an 8.
I'm okay with it being an 8.
You're still going to succeed. You're still going to get all the way down. I will say that as you splash down into the water, like as you feel yourself finally hitting the ground, you do hear, I'll say as a consequence, you do hear the sounds of like someone shouting, and you look about 100 yards from you. There's like two of the types of people that you saw. Remember when you were on the boats initially? And you guys got attacked, and there was a couple that had guns and stuff like that. They weren't like the full-on serpentine-like people. They just had a few. They have like some of them had like their teeth sharpened and some scales and such here and there, but not like a full-on serpentine thing. You see 2 of them, and they start like they look at you, they point, and then they start like racing in your direction. And you can see they're pulling out like weapons. It looks like you can see one of them's like pulling out what looks like some kind of blade. Another one is pulling out what looks like some kind of like almost like a spear as they're chasing. They're not immediately on you, but you can definitely see them.
Yeah.
Where would you head after this? You just plop down. You're right on the edge of this courtyard that you just cleaned out. You saw your friends go inside. Where do you go next?
I need to get inside, but I can't go directly inside because there's crusty people with guns coming at me now. So we're in this courtyard. It's like surrounded like buildings, coral.
Yeah, so think of it like two big avenues come into this like circular courtyard, and on like the top side of the north side of it is where that big ass aquarium is.
Okay.
And everything around you is some kind of lagoon-like feature, right? So there's like, whether it's coral, whether it's kelp, whether it's something like that. So like you see that everywhere. There's little rooms and alleys and such here and there, and buildings. There's little nooks and crannies to potentially hide. And you also know that somewhere up above, like in the sky, they have those security drones, essentially. So
yeah, I'm gonna take down an alley, try and cut around and sneak around to the north side.
Okay. Verana, as you're looking down, you see him plop into the water and race into one of the alleyways, kind of going the direction of the aquarium. You definitely see that there are 2 that are racing after them, and they're moving with speed. One of them, like, even just dives down into the water and just starts swimming and seems to kind of outpace the one that's running almost as they're chasing after Ivan. Verana, what would you like to do? You hear the sounds of voices too, as like they're you think somewhere hidden in the smoke cloud that Ivan left. You think that people who are chasing them have probably reached the top and are looking for him. No one's detected you yet, though. What do you want to do?
So I have a question for you. So I know we've talked a lot that there's sort of coral in this area. So my question for you is, and you'll see where I'm going when I ask the question, is there coral that is dead?
Dead coral, huh? I mean, not currently, but you could certainly make... Well, actually, I see where you're going with this.
You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah. Heads or tails? Heads or tails?
Heads.
All right, it's heads. Yeah, you definitely see that there are patches here and there that have kind of broken off and crumbled to the ground. Sure.
Okay. So, what I would like to do...
So excited right now.
Seeing that I have corpse animation, I would like to basically take this dead coral and raise it in sort of like a fence to separate where Ivan is in this alley from the individuals that are chasing him.
Okay. That sounds fun. Yeah, let's freaking do it. What do you got in terms of tags?
So I've got sense life force to know where he is, and I've got corpse animation as an esoterica tag.
Okay.
And I have access to occult tomes if you think this is how I know how to do this stuff, but it's more indirectly relevant than directly relevant.
Okay.
I mean, I do in the sense that like my occult stuff is all of this like necromantic corpse animation, undead servitor life force stuff.
Okay.
So I think those are the occult tomes that I have. So if I have to like, while I'm on the roof, grab my bag real quick, flip through my like book and find the like how to.
Oh, there are actual physical tomes. It's not like you had like the Kindle version. I was definitely thinking you had on your Kindle version and you put it like up on like a
it's cyberpunk. It's a Kindle version.
It's very easy to forget this is cyberpunk. Yeah.
Yeah.
we don't do a lot of hacking.
It would be the
yes.
Necromancer on a Kindle.
I like it. Let's take occult tomes. That's fine. Take occult tomes. Take
okay, so that's 3.
Take corpse animation. What do you have for loadout? Do you have anything? Oh no,
ritual dagger.
Nah,
it doesn't apply here.
I don't think so. Yeah.
So sense life force to know where he is, and then corpse animation and access to occult tomes to do this raising of this fence to protect him from.
Can I pitch something to you?
Certainly.
What do you think about doing either one of these 2 weaknesses tags? Overzealous, where maybe you try to do a little too much, or maybe in doing so that kind of creates some other issue. Or because like this is not usually your bag, maybe like, you're usually doing living, like actual once sentient creatures, or lengthy ritual, and that you're trying to do this a little bit faster. Like usually this takes a little longer. I would say maybe one of those tags if you wanted to invoke it.
I think his lengthy ritual is specific. I'll take overzealous.
Okay. This is not a normal application of your power, and you're not you've never tried. So yeah, I mean, I think either could apply.
Lengthy ritual makes more sense.
Catapult me into the air on coral.
Yeah, I think lengthy ritual makes more sense. Like what makes more sense is me fumbling and taking longer to do this than I normally would. Like that makes way more sense.
Mechanically, it's the same thing. It's just a -1
often.
So
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and evoke that. Just gonna let you upgrade. Okay.
And then. Right. Does the fact that I am blood drained or battered or toxic or acid burns or any of the
These are great questions. Thank you for asking this stuff. I think
I've got a lot.
Yeah. I would say blood drained might apply. I think the rest of them you could probably say you suffer through. But blood drain is like your because it feels like that's the type, like maybe that's part of the ritual, or maybe like that helps you stay you concentrate or something like that. I think that might be the one.
Yeah. It's basically a straight roll. Because I've got 3 minuses from the lengthy ritual plus the blood drained, and then the pluses for corpse animation, sense life force, and access to occult tomes.
Okay. Go for it. Give it a roll.
Shit.
Okay. That's what I like to hear.
Hell yes.
Oh man,
what do you got?
That's a 4.
You know what? I keep forgetting to say this. You could have burned one of those. You could have burned one of those for a +3. It's supposed to be before the roll, but like we're still learning. Would you? I know it's after the fact, but do you want to burn one of your tags? Or multiple tags. I think you technically can burn more than one.
Oh, cool.
Oh man. It feels like cheating because I already rolled it.
It's fine. We're still learning. It's all good. And we totally forgot about the burning the tag thing. So this is technically new for us tonight because we had forgotten.
Oh man. I lose my ability to animate corpses for the rest of this.
You already got 1 from it. If you burn it, it would take you from a 4 to a 6, and I don't think a 6 succeeds. So at that point,
Yeah, what did you roll?
I rolled a 4.
Okay. All right.
So adding 3 would get me to a 7.
But aren't you already getting 1 for using it? That's what I mean to say. So like if you're only getting a net 2,
yeah, that's a good point.
And a 6 isn't a success, then why burn it and not get a success?
Oh, I see what you're saying, because the 1 went into the +3, it'd be a plus.
Okay.
It's hard enough to push you into the next year.
Man.
Good.
Should have taken
I don't
the
waste
weakness
resources, man.
Point.
I don't do it.
Either. Okay. So
I did take the weakness.
I know, that's what I'm saying. If you wouldn't have plus burning attack, you would have hit your target. It's a lot of math going on. I know. It's not your favorite subject.
It's worse than the gaslighting, Jeff.
I was sort of pitched. You don't have to say yes. Okay, so this is how we're gonna say this. So we're gonna say consequences. Well, first of all, we'll say it works, but it works too late. It just takes too long. So you create this wall of coral, but it comes up after they've already passed it, and effectively kind of traps Ivan in this alleyway with these two people. You're still, yeah. And I'm going to say you go ahead and remove your hidden. They know where you're at now. One of them as they're running, they hear the sounds of maybe you're chanting or whatever it might be, or maybe you shuffle too close to the edge and stuff falls over and splashes down in the water. They look up and they see like the gesticulations of your ritual, and so now they know where you're at. They know where Ivan's at. You're, say, 2 stories above Ivan, and you've got these 2 of those kind of like the boat crew people that you are now gonna have to contend with. Okay. Let's check back in. Let's check back in with Mallory and Agaricus. Mallory and Agaricus, you kind of climb up this ladder. You got that partial layout. You find yourselves on like an employee base, like an employee area wing. You can definitely see there used to be a lot of cards and switches and things like that. Like that it's sort of limiting who can get here. But that is not the issue anymore. As you can see, most of these doors have been ripped off their hinges. You can see some of the panels themselves have been pulled out from the wall. And with all the chaos going on everywhere else, this seems to be like a fairly low activity area. You find your way to a security room. And right as you're about to open the door, like you can see it literally says security, you hear a voice from inside, like as if someone's speaking to another person through like a radio. So you think there's somebody inside. So Agaricus, I don't think we've actually had you do anything yet. So let's see what Agaricus is up to.
I don't want to botch this for people. I'm going to roll dice and create more consequences.
Like that's your sale, buddy.
It's going great.
No, but that's also Agaricus.
Such great decisions.
Awesome.
So
this is going great.
But that's also Agaricus
awesome.
is disgruntled at the moment. So that's his thinking. All right. So what's he going to do? Here's a voice in there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
like,
clearly, obviously it's not going to be a friendly, so we need to somehow stealthily get in there and take care of it.
Whatever you like. No one's saying anything still. You can do whatever you like.
Rip his arms off. Like Mallory out of nowhere just says that. You can rip his arms off.
Mallory picks up an arm and just like tilts it down and drinks it.
No, I think he's only got the split second to react to it, which maybe could play into like Warrior's instincts. He knows to jump on it as soon as there's an opening.
Sure.
And basically just run in and just put him in like a sleeper, basically. And just try and choke him out probably with, he's got an impressive physique.
Okay. Those both sound great. I'm gonna say we'll say take a +1 for like just like the surprise, like bursting the door down. We'll say just like a random surprise kind of status.
Okay.
And give it a go.
All
Don't even
right.
know what you're looking at. You knock the door down. You're just going to go right after whatever's there. Like, could be.
This is a bad idea, but you know what?
It's a
That's what I'm
great
doing.
idea. It's a great idea.
Okay, 2, 6 plus 3, and we'll see how it goes. Or maybe
right.
we won't.
Excited.
It's not rolling on my side. I don't know if it's rolling on your side.
No, I didn't see
I
anything.
haven't seen it yet.
That's
Want
why.
me to roll it for you?
Oh, come on. Okay, let me try it one more time. I'll do it in the other thing, and I'll just actually type the dash roll.
Okay. There
we
it
go.
goes.
10. Oh,
Boom,
okay.
10. Perfect.
Yay.
So you spend 3 power. Do you
Mhm.
want to just spend? Okay, so you have 3 power. What do you want to use them to subdue? Is that the idea?
Yes.
You want to just okay? Do you
Because the
kill?
hope was to come in and do it in a way that's silent. Like, it's not so much that
Okay.
he's like bloodthirsty and wants to murder this guy, but the big thing is just get him in a chokehold and keep it quiet.
Okay, you burst the door open, and you hear like yes, ma'am. There's somebody. What? And then and how does it look? It's like, how do you subdue? It's a guy. Looks like one of these boat crew people. They kind of like hybrid human, like with reptilian kind of feelings to them.
It basically just looks like he's a big old mushroom man that just comes barreling, kind of shoulder checks him, and the arm kind of almost like grows into place, and vines kind of come around his neck to grab onto to modify a Health Nelson. Shh. Look, I don't want for this to have to go nasty, but just be quiet.
And if you're putting the points in to subdue, that will very much subdue. And so like you sleeper hold them, and they're like reaching out, trying to hit something on the panel, but they can't quite reach it.
No.
And then they collapse, and you just drop. Then you hear thump as they fall down to the ground. Now the room is pretty standard affair. It's a little bit dated. Like, it doesn't look like it has a ton of like super modern equipment, but you can definitely tell that they've employed some upgrades. You even notice that some of those upgrades have the Maya Corp logo on them here and there, so you can definitely tell that they either been stealing, scavenging, buying, whatever it might be, and they've put that in some places. But the room itself is definitely dated to a degree. You have a couple different terminals up, and you can see that they're moving, and you realize, Mallory and Agaricus, that you're seeing in some cases through security drones. So you can literally see 2 security drones right now surveilling this kind of engineering room area where all this different machinery is. And you see there's Rika like just racing through them, hiding. You can see one of them is like looking outside at this big burning building, and another one is looking at this smoke and kind of hovering around the courtyard, where you see this wall of coral suddenly comes up and covers an alleyway. And you see others that are in various parts of the compound or of the entire hab. So you feel like you have like the eyes on all of those security drones that are flying around. And so that's what you guys see in here. Mallory, did you want to take an action here before we cut to a different section?
Yeah, so I'd like to now it's just seeing through them, or maybe if you had the right access you could control them.
Hey,
All
if
right,
you hack
so-
into that, you could do a lot of stuff in there. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so Mallory's going to first just try and bring those security drones back to where they belong, because she left the premises and she's not a threat. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So you're gonna try to hack in, and you're gonna try to essentially like reroute the drones somewhere else to like their kind of charging location or something.
Yes.
Okay.
It's
Hell
you know,
yes.
I'm gonna make them think their battery's low. Yes.
I like it. I think it's a great idea.
You know, their old technology, lithium. Ugh.
Yeah. So intrusion specialists, definitely. Find back doors, definitely. There is currently though alarms that have been triggered, so you're gonna have a -1 from that, as there already is like a sort of elevated security on their networks.
All right.
So there's -1 from that. Anything else you have that you want to try to use?
Yeah, I was looking. Not a lot of this applies, but it's what I do next that I think will have some more. But you know, want to cool things down a little bit first, so that we can.
This is going to be tracked because I do want to see how well you do, and then you're going to be able to buy effects from it. Do you want to burn intrusion specialists or find back doors to get 3 power instead of 1 from them?
No, because I have a feeling we're going to need it later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone keeps saying that, but I also want to point out that you sometimes pass some of these rolls and you won't need them later. So, just saying. If you pass a roll that shuts down all of the security drones, you don't really need to hack a security drone later.
Okay.
Not that I'm trying to gaslight you. And I saw my trace.
Either that or I could
like,
just succeed because I can't seem to roll above a 3.
Okay.
Oh.
right.
No, actually, not yet, but I will keep that in consideration.
All right.
So, yeah, it's just going to be 2d6 plus 1.
Okay.
If only that would have gone from a 6 to a 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is what's going to happen. I think you still rolled decently well, and you still got into them. So I'm going to say you're going to get some of the drones are going to shut down, or some of the drones are going to get affected by it, but you're not able to get the full network. At some point, as you're kind of going through and sort of going through the various subsystems, you realize someone's actively working against you and suddenly shuts you out. And so I'm gonna say you lose access to the system, and you've only been able to like kind of get a handful of these drones to be affected by it. But there was somebody else literally in the system that was trying to actively prevent you from doing the thing that you were doing, which makes you think that somebody else may be on the premises or in the hab. Somebody has alternative access to this sort of network that they're on. Don't forget, like there could be, it's an old network, but they could still potentially access it.
It's an old network, but it checks out.
It checks out. All right, Rika. So last we saw you ran into this area where all these different engineering machines are and such. You feel you're being chased. You do see one of these drones suddenly like flicker. The lights kind of flicker off, and then it turns around and starts flying out. But that still leaves you with one flying drone, one of these, what I'm calling tide collars, and one of these Makar's children creatures that are in this big engineering room with you. So they're kind of searching for you, and they know you're in here, and you've been managing to a certain point kind of hide amongst the machinery.
Sure.
But what would you like to do in this situation?
I have 2 questions.
Great.
The first one is through this hole that I created, given that Clover is running to join me, am I able to see him in the distance at all?
I don't think so. I think
okay.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think Clover hung back.
I don't think anyone is going to be.
Yeah, but I also feel like in the last thing we saw, Clover, you shot, you fired, you caused a big old disruption. So like maybe you're on the horn with her.
I just wanted to know if her mindset was that she's by herself or if she has backup coming. And it feels like it's the first one. The second question I had was, have we established that we can communicate with them or vice versa? Like, can we speak to them?
You have not at any point tried to communicate with them. You just start blasting. Every time you see them, you start blasting, or they start blasting you. But some of them, they're just humans with various like graphs on them. And then so there's no reason to think you couldn't communicate with them.
Okay. So, I'm gonna try something that's probably kind of stupid. Okay. I'm gonna step out. Actually, no. First, I'm going to say out loud, like, okay, I'm gonna come out. Don't shoot. Okay, don't shoot.
Okay. So, walk me through what you're trying to accomplish with this.
Okay. What I'm trying to do is and I was hoping to use my rugged charm tag. I haven't used that yet. No, I would like to basically talk to this Makara's children guy and to kind of have him focus on me in like a non-violent way. And then just basically I'm trying to buy some time to like figure out next steps.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. You're going to get a -2 from Marked as they are aware of you. You're going to get a -2 from Furious. So, just that alone, you have a -4 from some negative stuff working against you.
Right.
Not so you can't roll it. You certainly can.
No. And that's completely reasonable.
Yeah.
I my rugged charm, and
I'm gonna throw it out there and just say you could burn rugged charm.
I
extra power.
think I might actually.
I just want to point out, guys, there's 6 of you. You guys get each maybe like 3 or 4 actions in a session, and this is hopefully the final session. So don't be afraid of burning your tags. Like,
so I think I am gonna burn rugged charm, and that'll give me a +3 instead of a +1.
Okay, so that means a net of only -1 on the roll, I think.
Yeah, I'm just looking at my other tags to see if there's anything else that might be useful. Doesn't look like it.
I mean, hey, I'm just gonna throw us out there, Roger. Treated like a brainless brute. Could invoke that weakness tag. It's gonna hurt you even more, though. Just throwing it out there as a possibility.
Yeah.
You know I'm gonna say yes, Jeff. What the fuck?
Okay.
So yes.
Okay. Go for it then. That's -2 then. We're evoking treated as a brainless brute. Oops. Sorry, we were both doing it. My bad. Okay, so go ahead and so you're rolling 2d6 and your net is -2.
Oh, good gracious.
You know I'm gonna say yes to that. So
you know she's gonna roll boxcars. Come on, it's my trade. She doesn't roll anything other than boxcar. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, that's unfair. Occasionally roll a 5 and a 6.
I rolled a 9.
A 9.
So -2 is 7.
Okay, so that's still a success. A success with consequence. So it's definitely going to be successes with consequence.
I'm going to come out with my hands up.
Okay.
And
okay.
My 2 guns.
One. Okay, so hands are up. You're trying to get them to focus on you. Okay, let me see.
Non-violent way.
Trying to think of what some of these consequences can be. How about this? You get nervous. Give yourself a nervous status of 1. Get a little nervous. This is kind of dangerous. This is a little dangerous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Clover, as you start to come out from your hiding place from after you kind of blown, you see this big, giant, glowing jellyfish thing like flopping around as people are trying to calm it down and pick it up and put it back into a different tank. You see like Rika through the giant hole in the wall from where you're spying. She's got her hands up, and you can see one of these like tide color people, these people in these robes are kind of directing these eels at her as they start to surround her like this. You could see like the glowing bits in the water start to surround, and one of those serpentine guards is closing in, but is waiting as the tide color seems to be taken in by the rugged charm of Rika and is not yet.
Listen, if I knew you were in the other room, I wouldn't have run through the wall. I would have stopped to talk to you.
And you just hear,
customarily, if you wanted to talk to someone, you knock on the door, not through the door.
made a mistake. I made a mistake. Let's go to dinner and talk about how I can better approach this next time.
And as you see their face, like you see their face kind of glows as they talk to you, and they have what looks like all these various augmentations on them that are starting to glow. You can actually see a face. There's a human face underneath it. It's like an older man, and there's all these different like grafts and augments that are attached to the skin. But Clover, you see Rika kind of being possibly like taken into custody. Who knows? Who knows what she's got up her sleeve? Clover, what do you want to do with this? You want to take spotlight?
Yeah. Sure. Let's see.
The
how I
whole
help
idea
with that.
was to have their back to you so that you could do more or less whatever you would need to do. Like that was my meta intention. Please
the
take
drones have been
spotlight.
called off. There's the lizard guys.
Some of the drones have been. It wasn't a success. I still gave them like kind of a partial in some ways, but like there's still a presence. So right now, what you did with your distraction with that giant jellyfish has taken the attention of at least half the people in the room that have rushed over and are trying now together to lift this massive thing, lifting it up and try to get it back into one of the tanks before it dies. So you've definitely taken their attention. So on Rika, there's a drone, there's one of these robed figures, and there's one of those serpentine guards that you've seen before.
Okay. I know Rika's all augmented up, and
she's gonna be fine. I'll live forever.
You gave her your
I want to
charm.
see.
Everything
I kind
will
of
be
want to whisper to her in comms, like, "You have anything that lets you like see in the dark at all?"
No, I would not like to go to dinner to that place.
What?
Go to another place.
What? No one's taking you to dinner. You are dinner.
They say to you.
We'll figure it out, and I want to try and find a way to like flip a breaker and turn off all the lights.
Okay. There is a panel behind you that like environmental controls and stuff like that. So you could try to use that. Sure. Do you have any skills in noise?
In noise? No, I don't.
Usually that's where it comes from. But if you have something else that you think would be useful in this situation, you can certainly do it.
The closest I think I have is analytical brain augment.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
That's probably it.
Yeah. All you're really trying to do is just like
share the luck, as I'm trying to do this to like help out Rika.
I'll take it. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. My goal is to
let me see if there's any weakness tags I can throw in your face. Let me see what I got. Nope. That doesn't apply.
I don't think Joe's gonna fall for that. I don't think.
Kind of burned all of them.
Fall for it. I'm giving you guys upgrade opportunities to improve your characters.
This is true.
And I'm going to say in comms, it's about to get dark. Know which direction you're going to run. And 11.
You managed to get into the controls by like it does seem like whatever security is going on is redirected elsewhere. Maybe it's right around the time in which Mallory and Agaricus are doing their things inside the security, and like everyone's focusing on what's going on in the security room. You manage to get the basic lighting in this place, and it all goes dark. The only problem is that there is still light because there's there's some tanks of bioluminescence here and there, but it's patches of light, and there's a ton of darkness. And so Rika, everything goes black. You can see that ghostly eels on the ground are colorful, and you hear the person in front of you going, "What is this?" But we're going to cut from there, and we're going to check out outside where Ivan and Verana are still trying to contend with these two. Ivan, you've been running down this alleyway. You're looking for a way in to this place, but you're also being chased. You now know that Verana is kind of covering you. Ivan, what do you want to do, man?
But I'm trapped, right? In an alley?
Not necessarily. You tell me what you think you want to do. Like, if you want to try to find a way out of here, we certainly could see if there might be a way out of here.
Yeah.
I helped you.
I did. Thanks. Shit. I'm just gonna fall back on All Reliable Fireball.
Okay, let's do it. As you turn around and just fire a ball of flame at these two. Okay.
Yeah.
Pyromancer. Sure.
I'm going all out, so gleefully destructive and unarmed by fire, because I imagine they're probably decently close.
Yeah, they're not that far away. I mean, they've closed a little bit of the distance on you. I'm just gonna throw us out there.
Yes.
I mean, easily distracted.
Yes.
Like as you're kind of going through like your wind up pitch, right? Maybe you spy out of the corner of your eye, like a chunk of coral just falls, and then there's you see, oh, well, there's a vent. I could just crawl through that vent and get inside. So maybe I'm just gonna say you could get distracted by like another alternative.
That's great. No, I am all down for easily distracted, but I was thinking of, as I'm getting ready to do this, I keep looking up there, mean mugging at Verana, like this isn't very helpful. And then the coral falls. And there's okay. And so I'll take those 3 positive. I'll take a negative for easily distracted and a negative for drained. I'm 1 up.
Okay.
And
I like it.
9. Okay, I'll take a 9.
9 is a success. So success with consequence. You have 1 power to spend. What would you like to spend that power on?
Really, I don't care if I hurt these people or not. I just need them to be dazed or confused or maybe like cowering long enough that I can now hop in that.
Maybe like blinded? Could you do like
That'd be a good one, yeah.
Fireball that's like super bright and then close quarters?
Okay. Yeah. You could also like brain some stuff down. Like I would say you could potentially you could also kind of create an obstacle, like rain some stuff down on them as well, so you can blow it up. Okay, you can do that. But blind would be a status. You only have 1 power to spend, so you can't really do like a full tag.
It would cost 2.
Yeah, so I think you're able to blind 1. We'll say if you wanted to do that, one of them.
Yeah, let's go with that obstacle thing. Like I send it out, bring a bunch of that. The coral down.
I'm just trying to help.
Okay. So it's a modest obstacle. So it's like an obstacle. So it won't take much for them to get over. But nonetheless, it could give you like that tiny little bit of a lead. Okay. What about Verana? So Verana looking down, you could see Ivan's like diving. Are you diving into that vent?
Yeah.
Ivan?
Absolutely.
Okay, so Ivan's diving into this vent on the first floor in the alley. You see these two are on the ground, like as they're getting up now, and there's this chunk of like coral and debris on the ground that they're now climbing over. It's not going to take them long at all to climb over, but it is giving him a tiny bit of a lead. Verana, do you want to help him or do you want to do something else?
Verana's super emo, and Verana saw the look that Ivan threw her way, that she thinks she's helping and she's not actually helping. Mm-hmm. So she's going to pout because of that. And so she is going to go back to trying to move herself closer to the aquarium and like trying to reestablish her sort of like hidden cover that she had, because she was seen when she was doing this super helpful ritual with the coral and lost all of her hidden. So now she's going to try to regain that and move.
Just want to point out, you're the one who came up with the idea to help him. I was cool with you not, but I'm just throwing it out there. Okay.
Oh, totally. She is now. I'm helping. You give me dirty look. Now I'm pouting.
Okay. Is that one of your weaknesses? Pouty?
It's
easily
not, but it just seemed like it fit her
Jeremy
personality.
has something like that, doesn't
Yeah, I've got the easily bruised ego. That's one of my weaknesses.
So good. But what about Agaricus? Sorry. All right. This is we'll say this. Ivan crawls into the vent. You, Verana, can take the opportunity that he creates to clamber into one of these like windows and hatches and such. Okay, so
Yep.
Verana, you find yourself inside of what looks to be a upper portioned area. There's offices and rooms, and you can see the light is kind of flickering here and there. It's definitely not in great condition, as it definitely looks like they have been ripping doors off walls. What would you like to do? What is your goal here, Verana? Like, in terms of threats, you know that they're familiar with where you're at. You're kind of up here all by yourself. You do feel the sense of like the power of this place growing. You know, Verana, considering your knowledge, that you are near a place of power, and you would probably surmise that this aquarium is literally a shrine built over top, probably, of like an entrance to a thin place and something like that. It might occur to you, Verana, that there are probably, I mean, there's a variety of ways that you can solve the issue, but two things that might come to place: destroy the shrine or seal the entrance to the thin place. And this is presuming you don't want to try to take advantage of that on your own, but considering it does seem to be a culty following, that might prove difficult. But that could be two ways of which could solve the collective's problems, by either destroying the shrine, thereby cutting off the connection these worshippers have to like whatever entity or whatever power that they think they're pulling them from. So those are probably two things that might come to your mind.
Yeah, and I would be on board with that. I'm wondering if and I know I've used Sense Life Force in the like I know where people are kind of a thing. Would I be able to, in this situation, use Sense Life Force for a location of thin place Sense Life Force? Like, is there something about that would fall into that category? And no is totally fine if not.
No, we can try. I've been sort of saying that the presumption is that there is a powerful thin place somewhere where that they're deriving, this is like a source, is wherever their magic from, basically, like their power, and the nature of it is unknown, but you know it's here. You know the entrance to it is here. One of the theories is maybe Makara itself. It's like a lair from Makara itself, where it's nesting or slumbering or swimming, whatever it might be. So if you wanted to try to use Sense Life Form to see if there's like a mythoi somewhere connected here, you can certainly try.
Okay. Yeah, she would probably do that.
So Sense Life Force is fine.
Yeah.
I would say access to occult tomes would probably apply as well. So if you wanted to roll those two, I think that would work.
Okay. And yeah, I don't think anything else would. So I'll do those
would you
two.
like to burn one of your tags to get a bonus to the roll? I'm not saying you have to. Just throwing it out there because I like to remind people of rules. That's all. That's all I'm trying to do. Is remind people stuff. Give people options, my tray. Just giving them options.
I would say she's... I know this is dumb, but we just said that the occult tomes are on a Kindle, and like she's spent so much time like looking for stuff in the Kindle that like the battery on the Kindle died, so she doesn't have access to her occult tomes anymore.
Okay.
So that's the flavoring of burning the occult tomes, is that she's got to like recharge her Kindle.
Your subscription's up.
+4. Right?
So that's a +4.
I'm gonna check something really fast.
Stayed up late last night reading. Forgot to put it back on the charger before the mission.
Right.
Yeah, come up with a fake email address real quick and sign up for another 7-day trial.
Hell yeah.
Right. Am I unrolling the dice?
No, go ahead and roll. Roll. It's fine.
Okay. Oh, frickin' right. So that's a 9 + 4 is 13.
Okay, so that means you have... Okay, so you have... That's a complete success. So you got 4 power. I'm going to say this is a tracked outcome. So you're going to have 4 power to get various things. So you could... I would basically give you like 2 of that power. You could say you kind of create a story tag, and like ground zero, like the entrance, like where it's at. It's a beacon. It's there. You can sense it. And so if you want to take that as a tag with 2 of that power, you can do that, like a temp story tag. You don't. This is your choice. You spend the power how you want to do it. I'm just throwing it out there as I know that's what you're asking.
No, definitely that makes sense.
Okay.
So,
and then the other 2, you could do something like the other 2, you could do something like discover if you want to find information. You can spend 1 power per detail. You could do something like that.
Yeah. Nothing else is coming to mind, so I'll take the suggestions.
I'll say the first power would give you a note that some recognizable life forces are down the hallway from you. I would say 1 very, very familiar life force, 1 modestly familiar. So that's probably 1 thing you could discover. And then you also realize that there is another life force that's in this hall up here. And when you look back, you can see that there is a room that appears to have like various sort of iconography carved into it. And you think there's somebody behind that door. So you think one of your allies, at least one of your allies, is on the floor with you. And you think there's someone else of interest hidden behind this door.
Yeah, I am. My allies, I have full faith in my allies doing what they're doing. So
I'm just trying to get people together so that we move this along. But that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can meet up with them. I can go meet up with them first.
Okay. So I'm gonna say then, as you go towards that signal that you recognize, you push the door open, and you see there is a Garricus, there is Mallory. Mallory is typing away and trying to like get into the system, but then like pushes back from the desk in like frustration or something like that. And you see a Garricus is like moving this body off to the side as you are in some sort of security room. So the 3 of you are together. So Garricus or Mallory, I'm going to give it over to you as you see Verana push into the room.
Hey. As Verana comes in.
Yes.
So, like, that's like basically his greeting, and he'll turn to Garricus and look back and forth at both of you, and he's like, "Someone kicked me out. Someone's actively working on the system. Need to take them out."
Ivan's still out there. He got trapped a bit. He'll be fine. He's taking care of distracting lots of folks out there. I've located the thin place, and there's a door right down the hall that's got some symbols on the outside, and there's someone behind it. So maybe that's the person that we're looking for.
Oh, nice. See, because I was thinking about taking this as I point to the commandeer drone and like using its limited service account to try and get back on. But if we can take this person out, it'd be even better. So maybe we could do both. Are you guys cool with that?
Yes.
Like, you all go take care of the bad guy. I try and get in with this.
There's a couple things that we need to do. We've got to keep security off of us. So whatever you can do, you're the hacker. Whatever you can do to keep security at bay is great. We've got to rescue somebody, and we've got to try to close the thin place if we can.
That's right. I am the hacker.
You are. So we'll go deal with mysterious Mojo Man behind the door.
And so at that point, I am going to try and get back on the system using this story tag, commandeer drone. And I know that most drones are on the system with a service account, because that's normally what scripts do. Yay, my first job experience. So like whether or not this service account has very much access or not, but I'm going to try and get in that way.
Okay, absolutely. I'm going to say -2 though, because the alarm security is up particularly high, but I'll say the attempt can still be allowed because you have the drone. You have the drone itself, which would give you a +1. So that means it's only a -1 in total, and then add whatever power tags that you are going to apply from your own theme kits.
All right, so I'm trying to find a backdoor with this service account. I'm an intrusion specialist. And in this case, I'd like to be in the system completely and never have to worry about getting back in. So I'm going to find backdoors.
Okay. Okay. Fantastic. Are you looking to crash the system at this point? I know you have another system tag. I'm not sure if you wanted to use that or not.
Right. I don't want to crash all systems, but I would like to crash this security system that is alerting other people, that tracks me, that sort of thing. So I've got intrusion specialist and then find backdoors. I get 3 instead of 1, right?
Yeah. So I think it's,
and then
you get 5 in the plus, and then we had netted out -1 from the other stuff. So I think you have a net of +4 power.
Right. And then crash systems would be...
No, I've already...
You did all the math for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
Because I think you're getting 5 from your power tags and -1 from all the other stuff.
Okay. Here's hoping something happens.
You got this.
There we go.
Nice.
Okay, 11.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay, so you have 4 power to essentially buy effects with. So you can create a tag, which is like more of a static thing, and that costs 2. Or you can create a status, which means it is, it's transient, and that costs 1 per tier. So you're looking to crash the system, basically? That's one of the things you're doing?
The security one, yes.
Okay, so we could say then that you spend 2 power to create a tag, crashed security, something like that.
And do I put that on my story?
You can if you want. I'm tracking it over here too. So we're gonna say crash security. So basically, any security system that they have, drones, doors, other monitoring devices, etc., all of that now is not functional. And I'll say Rika and Clover, you actually hear the sounds of these security drones crashing, bumping into things here and there, as all that seems to sort of whatever's happening elsewhere is having an effect. You still have 2 to play with. You could create another tag. You can kind of try to do another disruption thing. You could try to do, what else would you want to do now that you're kind of in this system?
Yeah, so I'm in the system and I don't like what they're doing with those mana wars. Really don't like it at all.
Okay.
And it's just my identity that nature should be respected and feared. So I'm going to try and find a way, maybe there's a release.
There is.
And so is there a creature that can survive for a little while outside of water? Like a huge giant octopus?
Yeah. Well, I would say you could do a couple things. You can do a flush the tanks, which would literally let them, all of the creatures that are in the tanks, you can literally release them back into the ocean. That's one thing you could potentially do. And so I would just write flush tanks, and that means all of these creatures, all of these different monsters, these different sea creatures that they've been kind of manipulating or playing or grafting or drawing power from, whatever it might be that they're doing, you could just flush them out into the ocean.
Yeah, see, I don't want them to be hurt. I briefly thought, maybe one could get out and attack some of them, but ultimately that would hurt them. And so, yep, time to flush.
Okay, so we're gonna say freed or flush tanks. Okay, and that's it. So, Jesus. All right, so Clover and Rika, you suddenly hear where you're at this whoosh, and it's this cascade shouts and screams, water rushing and moving. Like everything's dark, unfortunately, so you can't see it that well. But some of those bioluminescent tanks are suddenly like a toilet being flushed, as all of them are just being drained out. You hear like this auxiliary alarm go off, and you see these yellow lights flashing, these klaxons here and there. It's not like an alarm security thing, but something's going on. And you hear from your friend that you're totally going to stay for your dinner date, Raikai. You hear like, the tanks, as they are now quite terrified. Okay. Well done.
Is it me? Because I had forgotten that we were in Cyberpunk universe when I answered Joe. But it's a reasonable to think that her eye augment has even basic night vision. Like she can see through a little bit of the darkness.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I feel like that's a reasonable thing to have on an eye augmentation.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I just wanted to... If that's the case, and if... is the scene over to us at this point?
You can take it. That's fine. Yeah, if you have something you want to do,
Okay.
throw it out there.
I just wanted to get the fuck out of here and grab Clover on my way out.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So you just want to like run away? Okay.
Yeah, with Clover in tow.
Okay, so I'll say impressive physique obviously is going to apply. You're going to have a couple other benefits here. I think they're extraordinarily distracted. So I'm going to say that all of that tank flushing is going to give them is also going to manifest as like a distracted 2. So there's that. And so they're all now like a lot of the danger that you're going to have to face is dealing with that. So yeah, so take a +2 effectively from all of the various distractions now that they are
She'll
having
yell
to contend
over
with.
her shoulder. Sorry, we'll do dinner another night.
What? No, after her. No, her. No.
And he's just like getting really pissed as the drone falls down to the ground.
You're not gonna believe me.
You rolled boxcars. Surprise. Every now and then, Maitre, you have to throw out a failure. You have to say, oh, it's a 1 and a 2. That sucks. Oh, it's a shame. You really gotta just... What'd you roll? Boxcars?
Yeah, do
Yeah, sure you did. Sure you did. You are... I gotta tell you, I think you're worse than Melissa with cheating. I think you have supplanted Melissa after like 3 years. You're the biggest cheater. Okay. I'm gonna call this a tracked outcome. You're trying to escape. So you've got, I think you had like 3, right? So you had 1 from your impressive physique. I think it was 1 from impressive physique, and then, 2 from my bonus that I gave you for the distraction, and then 1 from your impressive physique. So you have 3.
Okay.
So you can just take what's called like advance. Trying to use the terminology a little bit better. So one of the things you can do, like on a process for effects, there is what's called advance, which is essentially just to make progress. And since you're trying to just get the fuck out, like that's the technical term for the process, is to get the fuck out.
Yeah,
you can just
amazing.
spend it if you want to just drag Clover as the 2 of you try to race out of this room.
Hell yes.
Okay. All right.
Very undignified dragging.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go back to that's great. Okay. I'm going to go back to Agaricus and Verana. Agaricus and Verana, you said you were going towards the door, right? With all these different... Okay. So you are standing at it. You can see that it has got this frame of coral, and you can see that it almost like beads hanging down, like bead strings hanging down. There's thin kelp, and you can see there's all these carved symbols on the door itself. So Garricus, why don't you take the lead? What do you want to do, man? What do you think?
I want to set up to give Verana the chance to do like her crazy cool fighting techniques and let her get the drop. So I basically kind of want to like start growing barbs on my hands and like kind of extend slight little vines from the fingertips to get just into the cracks of the door, kind of very slowly and quietly get a good grasp on it using that. And then just with brute strength, kind of like look at her to coordinate the right timing that he's just going to rip the door off so she can get the drop on whoever's in there and to just bum rush him.
That is awesome. Okay, yeah, absolutely. Let's roll
I'd like
it,
to
man.
imagine she didn't realize that her Kindle had died yet, so she's looking at all the symbols around the outside. So she's like going to pull out like her Kindle and like figure out what the symbols mean. And then while you're doing that, you're just grabbing at it, and she's like, and she can like puts it away real quick and like gets ready to fight.
I like how you're still referring to it as a Kindle. You know,
Yeah.
I should have done that. We are on like Twitch, so I guess it makes sense. Whatever. Okay, so Jeremy, let's do it. What do you use? So sprout vines.
Sprouting vines, the floor growth kind of create the barbs to get a good grasp on it, and then brute strength for just yanking that sucker.
There's a -1 because these runes are like basically protective wounds, so -1 from that, but otherwise you're good to go, man.
All right. Right, so let's do it.
Yeah, man.
And
Wait, non-foundry.
Oh, good. Good guy. Okay.
Whoa.
All right, Jeremy, here's the deal.
do not roll boxcars.
Yeah, you don't. But you know what? We believe you because we can see it. We don't see some completely untimed, stamped screenshot.
I may be a failure, but I'm an honest
but you're an honest failure. Okay.
It's just like he tries to grow the little barbs, but they don't really grasp the door quite as well as he hoped. And he just it's like the equivalent of like ripping out a fingernail, except from the bottom of your hand. It just really hurts.
So let's describe this as, so you're going to succeed in ripping the door open, but you probably miscalculate maybe a little bit of like the effect of these runes. And you feel this like repulsion suddenly happen as you grab, you finally sink in, but it takes so long that you're not able to rip it out before those protective wards trigger. And it essentially just explodes out. And I'm going to say, go ahead and take prone 2 as you are now like knocked down into the middle of the hallway with the door on top of you. The door is still open, but you're like trapped underneath the door, and you hear, "Ow, ow, sweetie, ow, help, ow, ow." As you have sandwiched her to the ground.
I squished my maternal figure. I'm a failure.
Verana, as you look inside the room, you see it's a office room, but it is resplendent in all of these beautiful, pearly, coral creations. And it's actually almost in itself, it is made like this platform. And it's this terraced platform that leads up to where a beautiful woman is sitting, kind of cross-legged with her arms out on her knees. You can see that pouring out, like almost like their IVs, are these little streaks of kelp. And on the ground next to her, you can see there are these 2 huge Mayacorp modules that she seems to be connected to. Her eyes open up, and you can see that they're not human eyes anymore. They look reptilian, they're crocodilian in some ways. You recognize the woman. This is Coco Almond. It is the woman you saw from the real estate agent. And she looks up and she opens her eyes and she says to you, "I told Jack I don't want to come back. Do you know how many teens I've had to wipe out? You're going to be the 3rd. And you see as she is expressing these bits of anger, the kelp itself almost looks like it's channeling this different electrical current that goes out of her arm, or out of the computers into her arms. And then she begins to just sort of float in the middle of the actual room itself. And you see this swirling vortex of water begin to come around her. And we're going to have to go ahead and end it there for tonight as we are at time. I thought we were going to finish.
Oh, gosh.
We're not quite there.
Oh. Oh, man.
Exhausting.
Next
I'm
time,
going to take a
right?
nap. I'm going to take a nap.
Maybe.
I'm gonna
It's
take a
very
nap.
easy to go on to side tangents, it feels like.
Well, I feel like that's the game, in
Yeah,
some
it
ways,
is. I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm just saying
Yeah,
it feels like it's the nature of
Yeah. Like we had all sorts of weird shit. We had the little like Ivan Verana story outside with like, you know, that shit going on. Then we had like the infiltration team, and then the infiltration team split. And then we've got the Kool-Aid Man team. Then we got the hacker team. We look all over. It's intense. Like it's crazy.
And dice rolls. And you're like, yeah, we're gonna do a thing and we're gonna get past this. And we're not, because that's how it happened with the dice rolls.
I was using all the good dice rolls today, guys. Sorry.
You
Yeah.
clearly were.
We know you're not really rolling dice over there. We know you're just like, dude, oh guys, you're not gonna believe it. Oh, look at that. All right. Anyhow, next time, seriously, I mean it. Next time we'll probably finish in the first half, and then we'll dig into downtime. We'll do some downtime stuff too.
Have a downtime session. That'd be
we'll do
great.
some downtime stuff. Yeah, awesome. So we'll read up on that and see what that's looking like, and then maybe do some upgrades and such. Like I said, I was going to give you guys a free lemon law if you want to switch out a couple tags for free. I know there's a system in place for it, but now that we have like a better understanding of the game and what you might want to build, or how you might want to make it work, we can switch out a few for freezies. Okay. Let's do some close-up plugs. We're going out of here. I'm just going to go by the overlay. Adam, my friend, you're up first. Tell us about Cannon Hunter.
Cannon Hunter Studio makes some games. We just funded our last Kickstarter, Skin City. But never fear, we've got Teenage Odyssey available if you're looking to buy it. So you can find it on DriveThruRPG, and you can also find it on store.cannonhunter.com. I hope that's it. Something.cannonhunter.com.
Okay.
Find out real quick.
Fantastic.
Yeah, but anyways, you go to DriveThruRPG, you find it. Just do that.
Okay. I'll drop links and stuff to everyone's things, notes and show notes and stuff like that. So if you're watching this or you are listening to this later, you can go ahead and look down in those descriptions to find them. Maitre, where can we find you on the internet?
I am Multiplays Games on YouTube, where I make system agnostic or multi-system content that centers the GM and player experience that you should check out if you want to check that kind of thing out.
Do you have any episodes that deal with dice fudging? Is that
I don't.
No, that's interesting. I'm surprised.
It would just be a how-to video.
It's exactly what it was. Here's how you take the screenshot.
Yeah, save these screenshots into a file.
Yeah,
and then post them.
And then she'll be like, and then
screenshots next to a copy of today's newspaper.
Yeah, and you want to make a couple versions of the screenshot. So like the dice are slightly different. Maybe they're centered or off to the left, so it looks like you're just making different ones. This is a good vid. Okay.
I know we're joking, but that's actually a really good idea. So
you're going to Foundry from now on. Chuck, what's going on, man? What do you got going
on? Defenders of Kobold. Wednesday, we'll be wrapping our Night Below campaign using Dungeon Crawl Classics. Friday we'll be doing more Pathfinder 2nd Edition. And that's the week.
Fantastic. And then Joe, you got another game you're running. I know you just started it. When's the next session?
Yeah, not this coming Saturday, but the next Saturday we'll be running Salvage Union. We just did our session 0, so we'll be ready to start actual gameplay this coming up time.
All right,
it'll be good. It's like a hex crawl mecha game, kind of rules light. Excited.
Awesome, fantastic, man. Okay, so as for us, tomorrow night, Star Trek Adventures. Our good pal, our good buddy, our good friend Steven is going to be running us through more Star Trek. Then he says, I think we're doing spaceship combat or something possibly. So he gave us homework to read the rules. No one's going to do that. Then Thursday, we've got Arzium, where I think we're going to be finishing up Arzium, our fun little steampunk whimsical fantasy game. Friday, we've got Dragonbane, as Aaron's going to be hopping back into the GM seat. And then Saturday, Speaking of split parties and chaos, Call of Cthulhu, as we are playing through a extremely dangerous and wild and crazy Bangkok, where there was a side conversation about whether they should Joe Pesci a guy from Goodfellas in the because they took a guy, and like that's what Ashley said, like let's just kill him, and yeah. They got themselves a nice, young, clean-cut translator from like Bangkok University, and then they put a body in his back in his trunk, and now they're talking about killing it. So, anyhow, and I won't say what's happening on my Trey and Long side of the story because Melissa's not allowed to know. So
we're so split.
secret.
We're actually taking out our headphones and not listening.
Yeah. Last thing I want to say, Huckleberry. Go buy Huckleberry, drive-thru-RPG, huckleberryrpg.com, hang out with us in the Discord. New update just dropped today. I think Steven just dropped a few things today, pre-made characters and such. And should be some art for some upcoming stuff that we're going to be doing with new releases. So you should definitely join in. It's a lot of fun. But that's it. I think we're ready. Let's go ahead and raid Happy Jack's RPG. They're playing Starscape. So follow the raid. Great rest of your night. We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.
Bye.